We're going to start by looking back really quick over our September 9th notes. Yesterday when we took our notes, we looked at the I can explain order of operations. And we started talking about order of operations. We started talking about the fact that you have to do things in order. It's almost like following a recipe. And we talked about the fact that you have this little acronym here. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And each of the first letters clue you in on how you're going to work going down. So we always start with parentheses. Then we go to our exponents. Our multiplication and division, remember, they were bestest friends. Bestest, that is not a word, I know that, but best friends. So you work from right to left. It's okay that they're both equally important. You just work from left to right. And then the same thing with addition and subtraction. Again, you're going to work from that left to right, equally important. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on in. So we're going to start with September 10th. And today we're going to do I can solve order, and I'm just going to write order of ops equations so I have enough room today. Okay? And that is where we're going to go. Now, I know me, and I sometimes forget the order in which I have to do things. So what I'm going to do is across this top area right here, I'm going to draw my little boxes. So I know I'm going to start with parentheses. And then next to that, I'm going to put my exponents. And then next to that, I'm going to put my multiplication and my division. And next to that, I'm going to do my addition and subtraction so that I have it written down so that I can just kind of check it off in my brain when I'm thinking, have I done this one? Let me check. Okay? If I don't write it down, sometimes I forget. So it's a lot easier for me to write it down so that I can check as I'm going through what I'm doing. All right. So let's go ahead and let's look at our very first question. And our very first question today, we're going to start with one that's not too difficult, but it's a little difficult. So I'm going to start with 6 plus parentheses 2 times 5. Close my parentheses. And I'm going to divide that whole thing by, let's do 2. Let's divide by 2 today. All right? So here's what we've got. We've got this order of operations, and we know that we have to do order of operations anytime there is more than one operation in an equation. So in this equation, I have 1, 2, 3 operations. So I know that I have to do this in an order. Okay? So I'm going to look up here at my chart, and I'm going to look to see what I have to do first. So I say to myself, do I have any parentheses? Yes, I do. So that is where I'm going to start. I'm going to start with my parentheses. So here's why I wanted you to have either a highlighter, a marker, a colored pencil, a crayon, something. And I want you to underline what you're starting with. So we are starting with those parentheses. We are starting with that 2 times 5. And when I underline it, I know exactly what I have to solve, what I have not used, and that way I can continue on my way through what I'm doing. So when I say 2 times 5, I'm looking for the answer of 10. Now, everything that I didn't underline, I'm going to bring down to the next line. So I'm going to divide this by 2. And on this end, I'm going to put my 6 plus. Now, here's something I need you to understand. You cannot change the order of the way this stuff is set up. Okay? You don't want to add the plus 2 back here because that's going to mess your problem up. So you copy it directly underneath where you're working. All right? Now I go back into my, back up here into my little drawing, and I say, I start again at parentheses. Are there any parentheses left? No. Are there any exponents inside of this? No. Now I'm at that multiplication and division. Remember, they're equally important, so that's what I'm looking for. I have a plus and I have a divide. So I'm going to do this division first. So I'm going to underline that 10 divided by 2. All right. So I know that 10 divided by 2 is 5. And I just had done that up there. So that is just the reciprocal of what I'm doing. And I'm going to bring down that 6 plus because I have not used it yet. Now it's easy because I'm left to one operation. So I underline my operation and I just solve. So all of this up here led me to this answer down here. It's kind of like following a maze. All right. So let's do another one. And this time I'm going to throw one at you that has 2 parentheses so you can see what happens when that happens. Let's go to number 2. And I'm going to do 14 divided by 2, close my parentheses, plus, let's do 7 times 3, close my parentheses, minus 9. Why not? All right, now that one looks very intimidating, but if you follow the recipe going through it, not too bad at all. All right, so let's look at it. Do I have a parentheses? Yes, I have 2 of them. So here's how this works. You work from left to right. This is the first one you come to, so you do that one first. And you stop right there. You underline that set of parentheses, and you stop right there. All right. So now I would say 14 divided by 2, or 2 times what is 14, because those are going to be the inverse of each other. And so that is going to be 7. And I'm going to put a 7 under my line. Plus, and now I bring down this parentheses because I have not done it yet. So see how I brought down absolutely everything that I have not used yet. All right. So now this is why you start again back at these parentheses. Is there still a parentheses? Yes. So I'm going to underline this parentheses. So now I would do what is 7 times 3. And we know that 7 times 3 is 21. So I'm going to put a 21 here. I'm going to plus this 7. I'm going to put that back on here. And I'm going to put this minus 9. And now we go back up to where we drew. So do we have any parentheses left? No. Do we have any exponents? No. Do we have any multiplication or division? No. Do we have addition and subtraction? Yes. And again, you work from left to right. So the first one I come to is the 7 plus the 21. So when I do that, 7 plus 21, I'm going to get 28. And I bring down the minus 9 because I have not done that yet. All right, so now that leaves me with one operation, and that is the last operation I have to solve. So here's my dilemma with 28 minus 9. If you can do it in your head, great. If you have to write it out, and I'm going to write it out over here for you, understand that if you have 8 pieces of candy, you cannot give me 9. It's impossible. You have to borrow. So I'm going over here to the 2, and I'm borrowing a whole group of 10s. That leaves me one group of 10. And I'm going to add my group of 10 over here. So this 8 becomes an 18. Now, if you have 18 pieces of candy, I would like 9, please. And that is possible. So 18 minus 9 is 9. And now I can do 1 minus nothing is 1. So my answer is 19. All right.